your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Friends. With me is Jeff Dye. I'm Freddie Prinze. Let's start the show. Jeff, welcome back, sir. How was your weekend? I saw photos. It looked like you had fun, more fun than you thought you were going to have.
I am traveling all over the joint, but it's been great. I'm getting to see this beautiful country. Also, the weather is good everywhere. Have you noticed this?
Well, that's that lovely climate change, man. It's improved conditions for everybody.
It's incredible. I was in
New
York.
Good thing.
I was in Houston. Obviously, I'm in LA now, but I was in DC. Everywhere I'm going, I was in Colorado. They're going, oh, what a beautiful day. It was like everywhere has just been beautiful weather. It's been great.
See, all you people complaining about the aerosol deodorants and my old school car that puts gas into the air and destroys the ozone and it's warming the planet. All I did was improve Jeff's weekend. Sorry.
That's it. Yeah. Also,
so
yeah.
Let me apologize for that.
They say, oh, this is the hottest it's been in New York. How do we know? We've only been keeping track of that for a few hundred years. Maybe New York is famously, that's its weather thousands of years ago, maybe a million years ago before humans were here. How do we know? What do you know? We're measuring a small little... Maybe like judging my body's health based on 1 hour. My body's been around for 40 years and I'm judging it based on 1 hour. That's what we're doing to the earth. Well, it was hot here 50 years ago. You're like, who cares? The earth does what earth does.
All I know is warm and I like it because the cold sucks. If you live somewhere cold, come move out here. It's gorgeous. All right, Jeff. Lots of wrestling to get into. Rhea Ripley comes from a place that's really hot. It's called Australia. I'll be going there in about a month to do the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel. Their winter, or our winter, is their summer, so I don't even have to experience winter this year, Jeff. People like me and really Rhea Ripley are truly blessed because I get to go and have summer all year long, and she gets to get the biggest freaking pop in wrestling on the active roster. I'm not saying if like a legend comes back, they wouldn't get a bigger pop, but every single week when they're showing all the people coming into the building and CM Punk gets the biggest, but he's not full time. Maybe he is, and they're just storylining him part time. But as far as take CM Punk out of the picture, she gets the biggest pop every single time she comes out there. And this week was no different. And then she gets to open the show when she comes out. She looks awesome. She looks like a badass. Like she would really beat you up. That's what Jeff and I love about her. She looks like she actually kicks ass. The only way Liv Morgan can beat her is through cheating with Dominic Mysterio or Raquel Rodriguez or Kendo Stick. Or that's the only way she can win. Otherwise, Rhea will kill you, girl. Kill you. She comes out and she challenges Liv and Raquel. And who does she get? She gets Tiffany Stratton, which was odd and strange. And the crowd thought so as well. And then she explained why it wasn't so odd and strange. She said, look, Nia Jax sent me out here. And she said, you better stay out of her business, you little punk ass bitch, or she's going to kick your ass. And Rhea was like, yo, did you just call me a punk ass bitch? I will kill your ass. And they kind of get in each other's face. It wasn't written exactly like that. And then all of a sudden, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, the women's champion, jump in the ring. And they beat up on Tiffany Stratton. They hit her with her own briefcase, which is just disrespectful. And then Raquel helps out Liv because she's getting the shit kicked out of her by Rhea Ripley. She wasn't having that. They stand on top while Rhea and poor Tiffany Stratton got beat down. Liv Morgan did her evil laugh that everyone loves to hate. And that was the segment. I don't care who Rhea Ripley's fighting. I'm always going to be rooting for Rhea Ripley. I think she's the most accessible, like emotionally accessible wrestler on camera. I think you can relate to her the way men related to Bruce Willis in the Die Hard franchise. And they were like, that's John McClane. And if I was in that situation, that's what I would do too, damn it. And it's this fantasy life that you can actually live. I think people see a lot of themselves in Rhea, maybe not physically because she's unique and is one of a kind, but in her attitude towards life. And they want to say the things she says. They want to do the things she does. And most importantly, they want to react to situations the way Rhea Ripley reacts to situations. She's head first. It's like an old actor exercise, right? Like, what's your obstacle? My obstacle, or what's your goal? My goal is to beat the bad guy. What's your obstacle? His obstacle is his power is stronger than my power. So what kind of character are you? How do you deal with the obstacle? Are you He-Man? Do you run straight through it? Are you sneaky with your brain? Do you go around the obstacle? Are you a coward? Are you Shaggy and Scooby? Do you run away from the obstacle? Or are you Bruce Lee? Are you agile? Do you literally and figuratively jump over the obstacle? How do you deal with the obstacle? Rhea Ripley goes straight through the obstacle. She is the badass. She is John McClane. I love her so much. I don't care who she's working with. I think Liv Morgan's mic work's gotten way better from last year to this year. So I like the story that they're telling, and they only give Liv wins if she cheats. She's never going to get something straight on Rhea. I like the way they protected Rhea's character. But most importantly, or not most importantly, equally as important, is how you feel about Rhea, because you were the first one to talk about her on this podcast. Not me, sir. It was you.
Well, I'm biased because she's got a great look. She's got a great build. She has kind of like she's the total package for wrestling, especially female wrestling. She's got all the things you're looking for. Remember in the NBA when you had a big Shaquille O'Neal who could dunk the ball, and then you had like a power forward that could make the thing. Then you'd have like a kind of a fiery 3-point shooter. If you needed the big three, you could kick it out to the outside.
Yeah.
And then a guy came along named Dirk Nowitzki. And he was a 7-footer who could also make threes. And you're like, this is unusual. Wait, he can dunk. He's a 5-tool guy. I feel like that is exactly what we see with Rhea Ripley. She's got all the things. She's dressed like someone who is trying to prove to their parents that they're not religious. Like, I have tattoos. And I'm wearing the leather. I'm not like you. I'm not in the church. And it's like, it works.
Yeah,
it feels...
She looks so badass.
Yeah, I feel like things that shouldn't work, she can make work. And then she's just so physical. I really believe she could beat up any female wrestler if you don't count like Ronda Rousey or like some of these MMA girls like Shayna Baszler. But she's so good. Everything she does is absolutely great. One thing I do want to point out before we move on from this is I wish WWE would stop dragging out the Money in the Bank briefcase. I feel like titles we should have to wait for, but I feel like the Money in the Bank stuff, like, let's use it. Why do we have to drag it out so long?
Because the stories haven't been good with it. So, but if they have a good story, then yeah, you can drag it out. But that you have to have multiple stories, not just one. But I totally agree with you. They drag it out almost every year, and the story is not motivated the way it should be. I totally agree with you on that.
Maybe here's a little pitch. Maybe if anyone from WWE listens to this, here's my idea. Once you use the Money in the Bank, it becomes yours. So like if it's used on you, you now have the money, kind of like the 24/7 championship.
What do you mean? Explain that. I'm dumb. I don't understand.
Well, you're not dumb. It's just, it might be a dumb idea. Here's the thing. So like, let's say you're the champ and I use the Money in the Bank on you, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I get the title and I've I use the Money in the Bank briefcase to pin you, you now have the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like you now now you have a chance to cash it in at any time you want.
The loser gets the case?
Yeah. And if
no, because you can't get rewarded as the loser.
It'd be awesome. You now have it.
He said
I got screwed, but now I'm going to screw somebody because it follows.
Well, you have to win it in the match. No, because that would take away the match, and the match is so much fun. The Money in the Bank match. You don't like that?
Yeah,
match?
That's the problem. You can't find a new winner.
No, I don't think you can give the loser a reward. You're so anti giving everyone a trophy, aren't you? Yeah, see? Really?
I'm fine with trophies. Yeah, I mean,
even
I
the losing.
that
you think the losing team should get trophies?
No, but they should get a nice handshake, which is the same thing as a trophy.
You can still get pizza.
They still played the game.
I don't. Yeah, they gave it to my kids even if they lost, and I hated it. I was just like, oh, what? We lost. They should know how that feels. It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Well, I'm older than you, so maybe that's why. All right, dude. Bron freaking Breaker, son of the great Steiner, Jey Uso, son of Rikishi. These are generational dudes. They got a generational beef coming up that I hope takes us all the way to Netflix. and they don't end it before then, but I can't see. Nah, it's only October. It's going to end soon. Never mind. These dudes are going to have beef. Bron Breaker explained his side of the story, and his side of the story was, yo, you didn't show me the same respect I showed you. And because of that, I'm going to friggin' destroy you, and I'm going to punish you, and nobody's ever going to speak to me that way again. And it's not even what you said to me, it's what you didn't say. I told you, hey, big ups to you, big respect, you beat me straight up. You didn't say shit back basically except yeet. So fuck you, man. Like, we're not cool. And that's why I speared you 27 times and why I'm going to bust your ass. I was going to move on to bigger things, but no, dude, after that, I'm going to beat your ass. And they wrote it differently than that. I didn't think it was as colorful as it could be, but maybe the Bron Breaker character's not as colorful as I want him to be. Maybe he's more of the boulder that chases Indiana Jones in the first movie, just moving straight ahead with as little verbiage as possible. But I think he could handle it, so maybe that's why I want to see it. But I will say this. They're shooting this stuff cooler now. When I worked there, this would have just been eyes to camera, no room for anything but that. I don't know if he's doing that stylistically or if there's cue cards there that are helping him out. I know they've used cue cards in the past, but either way, I still thought he was doing a good job, and he's growing. He's not the best promo in the WWE yet, but considering he's been there for 3 days, he's doing a really, really good job. He's making me want to watch them wrestle again and giving us a reason why, which I think is super, super important. How did you feel, sir?
Yeah, I'm all in on Bron Breaker. I just want to see more. That's all. I feel like we're not getting enough Bron Breaker, especially after all the heat. Wait, do we use heat in wrestling as good?
Yeah. Well, heat can be a good thing when you're a bad guy. You want to get heat. You want people to be mad at you.
Well,
but heat in our business,
he was getting.
Yeah, heat in show business is a good thing no matter what, because it means people. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I meant it in the way that we use it. Like, heat in comedy means like everyone's talking about you. So Bron Breaker, months ago, everyone was talking about him. He was like literally the hottest thing that was like in the scene. So I guess I just kind of feel like that's died a little. That momentum's died a little. So I wish we could see more of him. I'd like them to really keep building him. So I'm happy as long as I can get some more Bron Breaker before I make any opinions about him. But I already like him.
It would be cool if they went back and forth and had like a cool rivalry. I don't think they'll do that. But if they did have a rivalry, it could take them to January. And then you could have Bron Breaker move on to the bigger and better things that I think the company sees for him, or at least the general public does. But yeah, you know what? He's big and bad.
I think I'd like to see less Jey, if I'm honest. More
Bron, I love
less
Jey. I think Jay's the freaking man. I think he's charisma. I think most men like him. My wife digs him. I think women dig him. I think he's a universal kind of guy, man. You're not feeling the yeet? Dude, are you team no yeet?
Maybe just this version of him I'm not crazy about.
Bro,
I know.
We got beef.
No yeet. The second he said no yeet.
Just said no yeet.
Lost me. He lost me right when he goes, no yeet, and walks away. I was like, oh no.
We got you and I have a problem. I don't know if
I
the
flip-flop.
podcast.
I can be easily influenced. So there's the thing. We'll see it. I'm week to week, dude. That's the thing. You talk. People can call me a lot of things, but you give me 2 good reasons to like a guy, and I go, okay, I like him. You know, I'm pretty.
By the way, the cardigan's looking good. It's growing on me, man.
Thanks,
you rock
buddy.
the cardigan to the show today. You look very mature, like a mature statesman. Not a statesman. They wouldn't wear a cardigan. You look like a guy who like a beat poet, like Jack Kerouac. You just need a hat, a cool hat.
No one's ever worn a cardigan and been stressed out about something, you know? Like, there's no cardigans. No one's rocking a cardigan around going, oh, God, what's happening in the Middle East? You know, this is like, I got my espresso. I got my kids are running around. My wife's happy. You know, I drink it. You know, it feels very cardigan-y.
Before we move on to SmackDown, I guess we can talk Crown Jewel. The Crown Jewel is super goofy to me. It only exists because they gave the WWE like $40 million a year to come and do a private show. It's like when they hire singers to sing at their kid's bar mitzvah or something and pay them $1 million to sing 3 songs. That's what this always has been to me.
A nice corporate gig.
Yeah, a nice corporate gig is what it is. But I've never been into it. Now they've built this belt, this 50-carat diamond and emerald jeweled, bedazzled belt. I think the belt looks goofy. You like it because is it too big? I thought you liked it. It looks very video gamey, and I don't think we should take video game stuff into real life. Sometimes I think this is one of the
interesting.
times.
I would have never guessed you to say that.
I don't like it. It looks digitized to me. It just looks fake.
Well, we haven't seen it on anyone yet. So, but like I think the big reason that wrestlers started wearing the championship belts as they got bigger on their shoulders is because it's just so large that it covers your abs. It kind of cuts into the top of your legs. If you try to bend over, it cuts into like right under your pecs. But here's the thing. This one's double the length. I can't even fit it in the screen where my hands are. It's so long that I don't know how anyone's going to be able to wear it. You better be Drew McIntyre to win this thing because he's the
You have to be long-waisted to rock. Like Triple H was long-waisted, small chest, like super long torso. Drew McIntyre's all torso.
But the thing about the crown jewel belt is I do like that it's gaudy. You know what I'm saying? If this belt was made by Persian culture, this is very like all the diamonds, all of the jewels, all the things, very gaudy, but I think it looks cool. I just haven't seen it on anyone yet.
I'm not a fan of the belt. And with that, we'll move on to SmackDown. Solo Sikoa entered the ring and he had the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. I hate that they stole our werewolf thing. They didn't steal it, but you know what I mean. Came out with the tag team champs, Tama and Tonga, and listed his accomplishments and let everybody know that beatdowns were going to continue unless Roman Reigns appeared at night's end. He wants to be acknowledged by the former tribal chief. See, I didn't call him the original, the former tribal chief, because he got beat down. And instead of him coming out, Jeff's favorite Jey Uso came out instead. And instead of coming out and yeeting it up with the crowd, he pled with his brother, his baby brother. Shouldn't have called him little brother. That made Solo mad, by the way. And he shut down emotionally, and he wasn't going to receive whatever message you were trying to communicate. That's just basic psychology, Jay. Should have treated him as an equal. But he said, you're dividing the family. And Solo wasn't having it. He dismisses Jay. Jay's basically like, look, I was cool this time, but if you don't listen to me next time, it's not going to be cool. This gets pieced out. Later in the show, we see Roman Reigns and Jimmy backstage. They get there in an SUV. Jey Uso gets there. He's a little more chill with his brother now. He has a conversation with Roman. Roman hits him with the yeet. Jay's like, I remember that's the no yeet. So fuck you, man. We're not cool. I'm out of here. Pieced him out. Roman comes out at the end of the show to supposedly acknowledge Solo. We know he's not gonna do that. And instead kind of makes a similar case that Jimmy made, a little too similar promo-wise, but a similar case. He gets his ass beat for it. He doesn't acknowledge Solo in the way Solo won. Solo like laughs at him straight up. It's like, I knew you wouldn't do it. So everybody get out here, kick this dude's ass. Asses get kicked. I'm summarizing this story because we went long on Monday Night Raw. But this, to me, is how you keep the Bloodline story fresh. Jeff wants unity, but to get unity, you have to have conflict, right? So there can be eventual unity when someone brings them together, like Robert the Bruce from Braveheart. Unite the clans. And we need a uniter. And we believe it's Roman. It could be someone else. Someone else could come in late and be the reason that everyone gets united. But Roman's still the chief. That's obviously how this story has to end eventually. And I'm sure it's a WrestleMania match, or it doesn't have to be, but it's big enough to be one. But to me, this is how you keep the story fresh without blowing it up and ruining the thing or getting rid of it because it was a little stale. You have these like moments where it's calms before the storm, and then you have a storm. If it's a storm all the time, we don't appreciate the storm. Jeff,
I like that. I like the way you worded that.
How did you? Okay, well, did I change your mind? Were you hating it, or were you agreeing with me the whole time?
I actually like what's going on. I like what they're doing with it. My like overall thing is just an idea that I think would be great, but it doesn't mean I don't like what they're doing. I think what they're doing is great. I especially like kind of what they hinted at too when he was like, "We've been staying away from them," almost like saying like, "Though that's the rough side of the family."
Yeah,
that's the
dude.
part of the family.
Yes.
There's a reason we didn't associate with that side of the family. And I think that's such a smart way to do it. We all have the black sheeps in our family, and they're really kind of hanging on to this. Some of us might be the black sheeps of our family, but that means we can identify with both sides of this, of like, that's the uncle we don't talk to. That's the brother who votes differently than me. That's the aunt who got a DUI, or like, you know, whatever the reason is. Oh, they went through a hairy divorce and I didn't agree with blah, blah, blah. Whatever that thing is, they're really stirring that up. And I like the way he hinted at that. Another thing they did this week that I love is that Roman Reigns is so famous and so successful and has had such a great body of work that sorry, let me get back to that. I'm going to put a pin in what I just said.
Okay.
You know how The Rock had 75 catchphrases? You know,
yes.
Rudy Poo, Candy Ass. Finally, The Rock has come back. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Shut your mouth. Know your role. Like, he had a billion catchphrases. Now, going back to what I just said about Roman Reigns, he has had such a body of work and so much things that he doesn't need every little thing to be his. For them to now give the term "acknowledge me" to whoever the tribal chief is, I think is chef's kiss. Such a good idea. That Solo Sikoa goes, I want you to acknowledge me. I'm not your brother. Like, I like that that's coming with the necklace. So I kind of like that, like, no, you don't have to. It's almost like the Persian god from 300. He's like, all you need to do is acknowledge. You just have to kneel. Yeah. And that's all Solo wanted. Like, listen, don't call me your brother. I'm your tribal chief now. And I want you to acknowledge me. It's a very good, like, powerful, you will acknowledge me. And I think that doesn't need to be Romans. I think that needs to be whoever the tribal chief is. And it seems like that's what they're doing, which is really awesome. I love it. But I love the storyline. I think what they're doing with it is awesome, and it works. And it's also playing on both sides of a family dynamic.
AEW.
Let's do it.
Jon Moxley, the real werewolf, kicked off the show.
He'll be our white werewolf. You know what I mean? Because we really like that he's the werewolf. But, like, you know, there's a bloodline werewolf, and then we got the AEW werewolf.
He's the double dub, the white werewolf. Yeah. The triple dub. Shit.
I like him.
He's
so cool now.
He does, man. Bad guy Jon Moxley is the greatest Jon Moxley.
So convincing.
Everybody loves Jon Moxley, and everybody hates Jon Moxley, and everyone's afraid of Jon Moxley. Like, he gets a little bit of everything when he goes full bad guy. Like, kids are afraid of him because he tried to murder Bryan Danielson twice. And anybody else that he stabs people with forks. Like, he's a scary wrestler if you're a little kid at a show. It's like he's actually drawing blood. He's really stabbing people or himself. Like, he doesn't care. If you like bad guys, he's your dude. Like, he's the ultimate bad guy. If Han Solo was the lead of Star Wars, that's your dude. Like, that's the guy you're pulling for. And then if you want to hate him because you love the good guys, he's so good and disrespectful towards your guy that you hate him. Like, he's such a perfect bad guy. As a good guy, he can't give you all those things because he's still going to scare kids, because he's still going to make people bleed. But as a bad guy, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's also, I think, a little more complex than that, too. He's such a good wrestler, he's such a good storyteller that, like, he'll justify why he's doing what he's doing. And then you're kind of like, yeah, well, maybe he's right. Like, he's kind of seducing me like the devil or something. Like, I'm like, yeah, well, you know, he had this coming. Daniel Bryan's changed, and it's about time someone so it's like he kind of persuades you.
It's about time. He just got the title, Jeff.
Yeah, he kind of persuades you. You go, yeah, you know, you're right. This guy he needs to be put in check. So, I love what Moxley's doing.
Yeah, he's the man. Everything he does, from what he does with the belt to his promos to his in-ring stuff, to the backstage segments, like, it's always good. To entrance, I think he even got rid of Wild Thing. Like, now it's just like fuck you music. Like, everything is just different and badass and mean. Adam Cole's back, sir, and it was story time with Uncle Adam, baby. And this was a little weird for me because of how the MJF and Adam Cole story ended, because Adam was the bad guy and Max was the good guy. And so this promo was more an explanation of, let's talk Freddie and people like Freddie off the cliff, where they're the cliff of questions, and back them up and give them a reason why they don't need to walk to the edge of the cliff. They should head back to town. And the reason why is because I never trusted MJF ever. And he sort of reestablished himself as the good guy and showed that look how Max is now. That's who he's always been. That's who he'll always be. And Max comes in on a Jumbotron and reconfirms everything Adam said so that the audience then goes, yeah, okay, we'll give you guys a break. We'll let you call Mulligan on this and just have another swing at it. And Max is like, yeah, I'm never going to fight you. And Adam's like, you can run, baby, but you can't hide because I'm Adam Cole, baby. And the whole crowd loves Adam and the whole crowd hates MJF, except the hardcores who are going to love him no matter what. And we'll get a story out of them. The story that was incomplete and that got terminated and blown up because of injuries, which always sucks. So they get a second bite at the apple to kind of finish this up. No title on the line, unfortunately, but at least they'll get to do some of the stuff they had planned for us. I bet you the match is probably all of the stuff they had planned for us, but they've certainly had to alter and tweak the story. So I would say give it a little time. As the kids say, let it cook a little, let it simmer, put it on low. Don't burn your food. Low and slow, baby. That's the way to go, or medium low, and let it cook a little bit. Even with your bacon, start it at medium, but then when you flip it, cut it to medium low, and I'm telling you, it'll be crispier and you'll never burn it.
I love that this started as a wrestling metaphor for Michael or for Adam Cole, and it turned into actual cooking advice. This podcast gives you everything.
Bacon shouldn't bend, Jeff. Bacon should not bend, and I'm just trying to help everyone. What did you think, dude? About my bacon, about Adam, about everything.
I love that. I'll have to take your word on the cooking thing. I know nothing. But I will say with Adam Cole, I'm just so happy he's back. And I'm super pumped that, like, I feel like we've kind of misremembered, not me and you, but just in general wrestling. There's never been a bad Adam Cole chapter. Even last time before he left, like he was doing that best friends thing with MJF, and it was so different and so great.
They killed it.
I just got to trust that whatever he does, this chapter is going to be awesome too. So I'm just happy he's back. Love Adam Cole.
And am I tripping, or does he kind of look like Tom Cruise?
I could see it. Yeah.
Think about it. I'm telling you, dude, when he's in there with the mic, kind of got a Tom Cruise thing going. I just throw that out there for the people. Let us know on our social if I'm tripping, but I don't think I am. Jeff, MVP has signed with AEW.
Nice.
Which means the Hurt Business is on the way. And he's been pursuing Swerve Strickland aggressively. And he's brought in Shelton Benjamin. Prince Nana has gotten some fire on the mic, talked some shit back to MVP. It was like, yo, I'll fight you right now. I used to be a wrestler. I got boots in the back. I'll strap. Like, it was the best promo I've ever seen Nana do. And it's because he was challenged by another manager. And that manager was MVP, and he responded to Nana. He goes, that sounds like a complaint. I don't deal with complaints. But here's the head of my complaints department, Shelton fucking Benjamin. And Shelton Benjamin's like, yo, you got a problem? And Nana's like, well, hold on now. Didn't say I had a problem per se. And it established Shelton as someone to be dealt with right away. They had a promo in the ring where Swerve was like, yo, fuck you. I would never sign with you. Nana's my family. You tried to punk him. So just because of that, we're done. Like, done. It's done. There's no Bobby Lashley yet, though. No Bobby Lashley yet. Now, Shelton had a match against Leo Rush, just murdered the poor boy. No police were called. There were witnesses everywhere. But when they got there, they saw nothing. They just saw an ass whipping. They made Shelton look great. Where was this in WWE? Oh, he was having to make other people look great. That's why. People forget about back in the day, like when he was wrestling Shawn Michaels on Monday Night Raw and having one of like the greatest matches that I've ever seen in my life. Like people forget about that. We don't, but people do. And it set up a match at Fright Night. What do they call it? Fright Night Dynamite on October 30th, the night before Halloween. Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve Strickland. Jeff, I'm telling you right now, this match is going to smoke any other match on the card. These two dudes are going to absolutely tear the house down, and the Hurt Business is coming. And you know the Hurt Business is incomplete because not all its members are there. You could say, well, Freddie Samoa Joe's there, and they kind of did a thing in TNA. You could say that, and maybe Samoa Joe will be a part of this story. But I think some shit's going to go down, and we might see the debut of Bobby Lashley in AEW.
Dude, how
October
great would 30th.
That be? Dude,
did he sign with AEW?
I mean, that's what everyone's assuming because MVP signed there, and they're tight as right.
That'd be great,
dude. He's like, I fucking love him, like straight up. Like I I'd lie in court for MVP. Like I'd give him $100,000 and a private jet to a non-extradition country if he needed it. Like, I really respect the guy. He made me work for it. I made him work for it. It wasn't just, here's respect. Oh yeah, here's some respect for you too. It was, no, here's an opportunity to earn respect. And here's one for you as well. And both of us did that.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I do MVP like him. He's freaking so valuable. Even now, like, you know, he's not exactly in his prime of wrestling age, but I think he's in his prime of talking age. He's really good.
Bro, managers are making a comeback big time. And let me tell you something. If I have my own wrestling promotion, or I should say win, that's the positive thinking way of looking at it. Wrestling managers are going to be heavily featured. I think they're way underserved. I think they can do such a great job for wrestlers who can't speak, who have maybe a language issue or something like that. Like, they can really, really help. You can't do it the way they did in the 80s. You have to evolve like every business and every art form, but there's definitely room for managers, and dudes like MVP let us know. Jeff, how would you like to hear a review of our show, sir?
I would love to hear it, and it better be positive.
Well, I can't promise that, you know. I
Not to you, I'm just
negative
saying,
ones too. This is from the mystery spot, so this might be mysterious. I'll read it mysteriously.
Okay. From parts unknown.
It's from George the Animal Steel. The best wrestling podcast. Whoa, there's nothing bad about this one. The best wrestling podcast out there. Here we go. As a middle-aged woman, that's my fan base. Watch out. As a middle-aged woman getting back into wrestling with my kids after dropping off decades ago myself, I wanted extra content to get up to speed. What sets this podcast apart from other wrestling content is that Freddie and Jeff are interested in the stories and character development as much as the physicality. But Freddie's insight into story building and acting are genuinely fascinating for fans who are interested in character building. We know it's scripted. That's why we love it. Jeff Dye adds levity and a great sounding board, so don't sleep on him either. My Cultura, give these boys more content and a big fat raise. I might have thrown the big fat raise part in there just at the end, but everything else was word for word. Thank you very much, Mystery Spot. We love you.
Love it. Thanks, Mystery Spot. I didn't have to go all heel on you.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, that's true. See, you guys are scared. You're scared of Jeff. That's why you don't write the mean ones. Stay tuned, you guys, for Thursday's show. We want to give you guys some of our favorite scary movies that are coming out. I don't know if Jeff even likes scary movies, so I'll hit him with all of mine. And if he hasn't seen them, then he'll see some new ones. If he has, then he's going to pitch you guys some too. So enjoy that. We'll give you 5 to 10 movies you can watch over the entire friggin' week. Hopefully I pick some that you haven't seen, although wrestling fans, horror fans pretty much hold hands and go on dates together anyway. Yeah. See you guys Thursday. On behalf of Jeff, I'm Freddie. Bye. This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.